Hello, hello, it's Tash and Ro.
Welcome to or welcome back to
It's Saturday.
Your personal self-care pod where you can escape the work week and unwind with your two besties.
No matter what day of the week it is, but for us, it's Saturday.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
We got a Saturday mini here.
We have a Saturday mini. We're going to start doing a couple of these every month where, I don't know, where we just have like one topic and we kind of do a deep dive into that topic. And it's going to be a shorter little episode. And yeah, we're going to be traveling a lot this summer. So
Yeah, we got a lot of big plans and we don't want to leave you guys hanging on Saturday because we know that you guys love to listen to the pod and we love hanging out with you. So we thought, why not take topics that might take up more time than usual and just kind of expand on them and talk about them.
Yeah.
So leading from a dry January, we thought we would talk about alcohol.
Let's talk about it because I just finished dry Jan and I just feel like, I don't know, our generation especially nowadays is talking about alcohol more. It's kind of like the older generation was talking about smoking. Our generation is talking a lot more about alcohol.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going sober.
Yeah, a lot more sober, curious people
Yeah.
for sure.
And I feel like we, like as a society, need to normalize like talking about alcohol without there necessarily being an issue with it. So I think nowadays we like talk about alcohol and it's like, oh, are you an alcoholic? Well, no, some of us, like not everyone has to be an alcoholic
Yeah.
for there to be like
It's not like sober alcohol.
Yes,
It's not like
exactly.
there's this
It's a
polarizing
spectrum.
thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So let's maybe start about like, tell me about like your like introduction with alcohol. Like what was it like growing up in your house? Like were your parents, did they drink? Did they not drink? Was it frowned upon? Was it encouraged? Like I know some kids like grew up allowed to like taste beer or wine, or some people is like you were having a sip until you're 19 years old. I feel like
yeah.
it's a wide spectrum.
Yeah. So actually, my parents obviously immigrated here from Iran where, alcohol now is illegal. It wasn't always, but it's illegal there. So you cannot drink.
Okay.
So my parents like didn't grow up drinking alcohol. Like they never really had alcohol until they moved to Canada where they were like, oh, and they were like pretty young. So they're still in their 20s.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh,
That's a good
kind
time.
of cool.
Yeah.
So they definitely dabbled in alcohol. And growing up, like they would tell us like, honestly, they wanted us to be open to them, especially when we turned, like not when we were really young, but when we were in high school, they told us upright, they're like, if you guys are going to be drinking, we'd rather you tell us and be open with us about it rather than like trying to hide it and maybe getting like really like drunk because you're buying like alcohol from like secondhand from somebody or whatever, or like stealing alcohol or whatever. So they were always like, you can tell us, we'll get you whatever, like beer and stuff.
So cool. Wow.
Coolers, but we're not getting you hard alcohol.
Yes.
So they wouldn't get us like straight vodka, but they would be like, here's like those Smirnoff coolers and like 4 and that's it. Or like 3, like they would limit it.
Yeah.
Like, so if we were going to a party, I would like tell my mom, like, we're going to a party tonight. And she'd be like, okay, this is all you're getting.
Yeah.
So then she knew like, I'm not going to like, I don't know, get like a Mickey for my friend and like, get that stuff.
Because I feel like when you're young too, you don't really understand like the ratio and the content. Like you get like a Mickey of vodka, but like that's so much alcohol instead of like just getting like 4 of these coolers. You think like, oh, I'll just get this, like it's cheaper or it's whatever, but then you don't understand like how detrimental like that is, how like strong just like the pure alcohol is.
Yeah. Or like people would like go into their parents' like, I don't know, bars and like steal
I've
alcohol
done
and like fill it up with water and stuff like that. Like definitely did that too. I'm not saying that I didn't, but it was definitely more of an open, honest thing with my parents where they knew we were drinking and like we would just tell them about it.
Yeah. Oh, so you're so lucky. I feel like
it was better. It was
awesome.
also nice because like I could call my dad at any point and be like, can you come pick me up from this party? And like he would come pick me up, you know? So then it was nice too because I didn't have to like worry about driving and like, because they were like, that was a big thing for us was like, you're not driving if you're going to a party or you're not like getting into a car with anyone who's been drinking like that. They were more worried about that than they were like if I got like fucked up at a party.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
feel
what
like
about,
that's kind of like the route I would want to take as a parent.
Exactly.
For
It's
sure.
like,
I feel like they
there's-
really did it right. And look at you, like you never like went out of control. Like you were super responsible. Like you, that's the way to go.
What about you?
I think it was pretty similar. Like alcohol like was like normal in my house. Like my parents never drank to excess. Like I don't have a memory ever of seeing my parents ever drunk, but like if my mom or dad wanted to have a beer or a glass of wine, like that was like definitely normal. And I remember like being like, oh, like like, can I try like what this tastes like? And they'd be like, sure, but you're not going to like it. And I would try it and I'd be like, oh my God, like that's disgusting. Like, how does anyone ever drink anything like that? But yeah, like same thing. It was more just like, if you're going to do it, like, I'd rather just like know about it. Like, don't hide it. Like, don't be stupid. Like you're not going to want to drink this. Like you'd rather have this instead, like portion control. Like I'm always there. Like if you need like someone to call, like if you do get too drunk, like I don't want you to think like you can't call me kind of thing. So I felt like I was in a really good situation for that. And it never made me I never like care. Like in high school, like I didn't really party. Like I didn't party really until university.
Yep.
Like it wasn't like a main concern for me. I was like, oh, like I've tried it here and there. I felt like if it was more like forbidden, it would have been something that I would have wanted to do more.
Exactly.
But because it was accessible, it was kind of like, meh, it's fine.
And I did have friends that like their parents were like, this is a no-no.
Yeah.
So they would,
strict.
I felt like, they would get like way more fucked up at parties because they would have to like hide it or like go to a friend's house or whatever. They'd be like, this is the only party I'm going to like all month or all year. And like, they would have to have like these full blown, drinking sprees. Whereas if you're just kind of like your parents are open about it, you're not having to like sneak around and do all this stuff. So
who are the parents though, or like who are the kids that are having parties at their house? Because that's like when their parents aren't home. Like I feel like that's so crazy.
It's so crazy. We were just talking about this the other day. Actually, one of our friends, Sia.
Yeah,
our friend Sia. In high school, right after Project X, the movie came out, he literally had a Project X party where he told everyone it was going to be a Project X party. He literally, I don't know what he did, but like there was no furniture in the house. I don't know if they were like moving or something.
Oh my God.
And he got like a bunch of kegs, all this stuff. He charged cover at the door. Like it was a whole thing.
Oh, he's a businessman.
Guys, the party lasted, I think, a total of like 30 minutes before the cops came because so many people were coming to his house. Like he had posted about this, like people had texted people, like almost like 5 or 6 high schools knew about this party.
Holy shit, that's insane.
And the amount of people that showed up, the cops immediately showed up. Like I think I got in, poured myself one beer out of the keg, like paid my $10, poured one beer, was drinking it, and then the cops came.
Damn,
like it was crazy.
That's insane. And his parents had no idea.
They didn't have no idea.
Like, I would be so livid if my child did that.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was never the one to host, but and like whoever was hosting, I was always like, how are you doing this right now? I'm like, where are your parents? This is crazy.
Where are your parents? My brother, so I was the oldest, so I never even dared to like host or anything. But my brother, he was younger, so I feel like, I don't know, he was like tested the waters and stuff.
Reza.
And one year, for New Year's, my parents were out of town. They were like in New York or something for New Year's, and I was home and I went to a party, and my brother literally threw a New Year's Eve party. I had no idea because I was out with my friends.
Oh my God.
I get home and it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and this guy's like mopping. There's like 3 or 4 people cleaning, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what happened? And he's like, don't say anything to mom and dad. I took pictures of everything of like how, because my mom's crazy. Like if you move like a candle, she's like, that wasn't there. So he had taken photos of everything.
That's actually really smart. That's why he's in med school.
Yeah, taken out everything from all the different rooms and like set it back up.
Put the ruler, like got the protractor going.
Literally rolled up all our Persian rugs because like that would be crazy if someone's dirty. But here's the dad giveaway. My mom comes home. They're not even home for like 10 minutes. She's looking. She goes, you guys had a party. Like literally 10 minutes. And my brother goes, what? How do you know? No, these guys had sprayed something on the like the walls. Like I don't know if it was champagne or whatever, but they forgot to wipe it. So with the glare, you could literally just spritz like spray all over the wall. And my mom's like, it's so obvious you guys had a party. Like there's stuff all over the wall. And he's like, damn it. Like,
did he get in a lot of trouble?
He did.
Like, what do you do?
My parents were just like, it's already over. Like what are they supposed to do? But they were just like, oh my God. Because he was never like throwing parties. So they were like, what?
It's going to be such a weird thing to navigate. Like when we have kids, like I always wonder, like, what are the rules? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, how late do they stay out? Like, do I buy them booze? Do I not buy them booze?
Do I drive? Like I'll be the driver. I feel like I'm just gonna be driving around.
I wouldn't mind being the driver.
Yeah.
Let's talk about maybe like hangxiety.
Ooh.
Like, do you find that you get a lot of hangxiety the next day?
I used to. I think like when I was younger, I would have a lot of anxiety. I don't anymore, to be honest with you. I'm kind of just like over it. Like we talked about this before. It's like no one is thinking about you. Like you're not that important. No one is thinking about what you said the night before. So I just feel like if you're an overthinker and you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh my God, I said the wrong thing or whatever. chances are that person's not going to remember.
Chances are no one is thinking about it except for you.
Exactly.
Truly, definitely just let that go. Yeah, I feel like I don't really have issues with that. Like for me, it's just I have a pretty sensitive tummy. So like if I do drink, if like I'm drinking heavily, like the next day, like my tummy just like feels sore and I just feel like groggy, and obviously I'm not like my fully functioning self. And then I get like on myself for like being hungover, and it's like, oh, like I feel like I've wasted the day, and like I have so much to do, and I really get on myself. And I feel like as you get older, like sometimes a hangover can last like more than one day. It's kind of like that brain fog for a few days, and then I'm kind of like, okay, like was this worth it? Like why am I doing this? But then I'm like reminding myself I'm such a hard worker, like I do all these other things, and if I want to like have 1 or 2 nights here and there where like we're drinking and taking shots and like the mood is going and like the vibes are high, like I don't want to like feel bad about it.
I'm completely with you. If the anxiety I get is that anxiety of like, it's the to-do productivity anxiety. So I think there's 2 types. There's the anxiety of like, what did I say last night? And then there's a anxiety of like, I have so much to do. And or like if it's a nice day outside and I'm like, if it's a nice summer day or like sunny day and I am not outside with my dog, like I literally feel like, oh my God, I failed her. Like I need to get outside.
Do it for the dog.
Yeah, I need to be. And like, I think having a dog is good in that sense because you do have to bring them for a walk.
You have to. It's non-negotiable.
So it's like, I don't care how hungover I am, I have to bring my dog for a walk. So that's like one thing where I'm like, just get outside.
And you always feel better though. Like before having Stark, like if I would have couch rotted all day and I would have felt like shit, but you actually truly like have to be like get up and get moving to feel better.
1,000%.
I know it feels like the hardest thing in the world to do, but like once you just get up and at 'em,
get
vertical, instead of horizontal, everything is so much better.
It's so much better. But okay, one thing I noticed this month that I was sober was that, so I went to a few social events, and not that many social events, but I did go to a few where I was sober at. And
people were drinking.
And I just found it a little bit weird. Like I've just never been like, if I'm at a social setting, I'm not really one to like drink on my own. I'm more of a social drinker.
For sure.
So I did feel weird being in social situations and not drinking.
Yeah. Like
and almost rude in a sense. Like if I'm, especially because they were more intimate
There's
things.
Like pressure.
Yeah. So it's like I'm at someone's house and they're having like a dinner party. Everyone's drinking wine. And I'm like, no, thank you. I felt almost like, and that's just a me thing of being like a little bit rude to say no. And that's something that I obviously have to work through, but it's like,
what you mean though.
It is weird.
Even like tonight when you're like, oh, we're going to celebrate on your interview. Like I'm going to make us a cocktail. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And then my head was like, you know what? I just like don't really want a cocktail. Yeah. I want like tea. And I'm like, I know you're totally fine if I'm going to tell you. But a part of me was like, felt bad being like, yes, you offered me this, but I'm going to say no kind of thing. Exactly. So you go to someone's house like, here, I got this nice bottle of wine. And they're like, oh no, I'm actually not drinking tonight.
And then they like don't want to open it because like they don't, you know what I mean? And you just feel bad a bit.
Yeah.
And socializing without alcohol is also a little bit, not with your close friends obviously, but if you're around new people, socializing without alcohol, for me anyway, is tricky. Like I was like, ooh, like there is a little bit of weird, like, I don't know, things you wouldn't think of. And I'm a very social person, but sometimes you're like around people that are drinking and you feel a little bit like, oh, like it's not different. It's a little bit weird.
I think so too, because like my university career was like Greek life. Like there was lots of socials and like drinking and this and that. And so like a lot of my like beginning like social like experiences, like there was like alcohol.
Yeah.
And so like when there's not, it's just kind of like, oh, it's different. It's different. Like, it's so weird.
And also planning events, because if you think about it, we mainly plan events now that revolve around drinking sometimes. Not all the time, but a lot of our events are like, I don't know, dinner parties or drinking or like a party or blah, blah, blah.
Or this or that.
Yeah. And so like this month too, just being like, okay, what can I do that's not revolving around drinking? Like, okay, I'm going to go hang out with someone, but like, oh, do you want to go on a walk? Or like, do you want to go get coffee? It's like trying to find new activities to do with people that doesn't have to do with drinking. It's also different.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
like,
different.
It's different. Not bad, just different. Like
I agree.
Yeah.
And then also I feel like there's the whole thing too about FOMO sometimes, where it's like you like want to go to these events, but then maybe like you're doing like your sober January, like for example, everyone went to the Suns game and you probably had like so much FOMO, like to not like go out and like drink with them, but it's also good to like challenge yourself and like not give into it sometimes.
And every time I have FOMO, I just think I'm like, the next day you're gonna feel so good.
Oh my gosh, having no hangover in January,
the next day you're gonna feel so good. There's gonna be no anxiety. You're gonna get so much done, and then like it will all be worth it.
Yeah, it's honestly this dance I do. Yeah, I always do these dances where I'm like sober and I'm like feeling so good and I'm like challenging myself and like I'm not gonna drink until like this special event, and this special event comes and I'm like, let's go crazy, like I've been waiting so long for this, like let's go. Then I'm like oh my god, yeah, then it was your birthday and now I'm like, okay, now I'm not drinking till like Caribou Cup because like that was a big night and like now I just want to like grind, focus on what I think I have to do, and like I think it's okay to like
it can ebb and flow.
Yeah, it can ebb and flow, and like obviously we're not going to be like in our early 30s forever. Like we're not going to be drinking a lot probably when we have kids because we're going to like be so tired and like I don't want to be hungover around my children. So like
exactly
the years are numbered, I feel like.
And having like a sober buddy or like someone who is doing dry Jan or like someone who's doing whatever with you is so helpful. I feel like a lot of our friends this month weren't really drinking, so that was helpful. I feel like if this was the summer month, I feel like it would be a lot harder if there's a lot of social things happening. Sober summer. We're gonna have to do it when we're pregnant. Like I'm literally like, what are we gonna do?
I know.
I know that time,
but that will be like that will just be so priorities will be so different for sure.
It'll be different.
I'm trying to think if like I've ever gone to a wedding sober. I feel like that would be really hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you do that?
No.
I mean, do it, but
like it's just like, weddings.
Come on, it's so
special
fun.
occasions, like birthdays. I don't know, man. Yeah. It's just different. Also, like you really find out who your like true friends are because you definitely have drinking friends, and then you have like your friends that can be drinking friends, but there's definitely some people where it's like I can't hang out with you sober, like you know what I mean, like you're just like I can't imagine hanging out with you sober.
What do you talk about?
But then like we had a girls' night and everyone like I think only 1 or 2 people were drinking. Everybody else was sober, and
just like a glass of wine.
Yeah, like but everybody was having great. We laughed so hard.
We laughed so hard. We giggled so much. No, that just. Yeah, that like reassured me like these are my people. Yeah, like I just love you girls.
Yeah, love you guys.
Sober, drunk, whatever with you guys, whatever the weather is.
At one point I felt drunk because I was just laughing so hard.
That's actually really fun too when you laugh so hard. I remember that happened to Matt and I when we went to see Tom Segura last October, November. I remember that, yes. We were doing sober October or sober November, I can't remember. And we were laughing so hard. Like I felt intoxicated. So like laughter truly is the best.
Laughter is the best.
Alcohol, medicine, everything.
Everything. And like cuddling your dog, and just like the endorphins and just like that kind of stuff.
When you were doing dry January, I know you did like the Sleepy Girl mocktail. Were there any other little mocktails that you really liked?
Honestly, I really became like a bubbly girl. Like, and I wasn't before. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would never just like go drink like a soda water or whatever. I was just like,
really?
No,
I was crave it.
I love my Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Like I would drink that all the time, but you can't drink that at night. You're going to not be able to sleep with the caffeine.
Oh, it's such I'll like be eating dinner a bit later and I'm like, I really want a Diet Pepsi. I'm like, but the caffeine. I'm like at 7:30. I was like, fuck, I can't.
Yeah. So like I know myself now. I like having a drink, whether that's tea, whether that's like a bubbly. I just need that when I'm like watching TV or if I'm like chilling, like reading a book. Like I feel like I just need to have like something.
Yeah.
Like water's nice, but having like a little beverage is nice.
Matt and I have been drinking like hydration packages, like little drinks too. Like those have been like so nice to have.
Oh, so good.
It's just staying extra hydrated.
But yeah, I feel like mocktails nowadays are like popping off.
They really are. It's actually like pretty interesting like how like the sober movement is happening. I feel like so many more people are just like not drinking, and like truly like alcohol like literally is poison. Like it's obviously not good for us. Like it's the way that it affects your body. Like there's no way that that's good for you, obviously. And everything in moderation. But yeah, like power to you. If you don't want to drink, like don't give in to the pressures. Just do you, follow your heart.
And whatever. I do think like taking that step of like, if you've always been a non-drinker, like if you've never really drank or you really were barely drinking, it's easier for you to then jump into like the no. But I do feel like if you've always been like the party girl, like the one that's drinking, for you to now say like you're not drinking, it might be like a little bit of a crisis for you.
Crisis.
To be like, people are like, wait, what do you mean you're not drinking? Like, oh my God, you bring so much life to the party. Like, what are you going to be doing? And so you have to almost remind yourself like you're still going to be fun without the alcohol.
I just like randomly thought of that like Friends episode with Fun Bobby. Do you remember
Fun Bobby?
But he's like, you're just an alcoholic.
Fun Bobby was not fun without alcohol.
He was not fun. He was actually a little depressed. That's
literally though.
Like,
you need. But anyway, if you are trying to take that step, And there are like, maybe there's situations that you don't want to put yourself in because like it'll be really hard to say no, especially at the beginning. Then just don't go.
That's honestly me, because I have such a rubber arm in certain situations. So
like if I went to that Suns game, I would have drank. Like I just know myself.
Sure.
I would have drank. Like
it would have been like,
it wouldn't have
like
been
for
fun.
sure for myself, like that would have been so hard to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it would be just saying no, and like that's okay. It's all good to say no.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I hope you like our little Sunday mini.
That's
fun.
Let us know if you guys have any like topics you want us to like dive into, because I feel like we have a lot of cool ideas, but it's always nice to hear from you guys because you guys always send us really cool ideas. But
the Saturday suggestions are
killing
best.
it.
Yeah, they're killing it. So keep them coming and stay tuned for more Saturday minis.
Yeah, we love you guys. Okay,
bye.